Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Mars Express. And this movie came out in 2023, and it's currently on Amazon Prime if you want to check it out, although you do have to rent it. So there's that. But, anyways, despite that, I thought this movie was pretty great, and I think it's a very underrated animated movie. And this is not a kids' movie, so don't go into this movie expecting like a family friendly film. There's violence, there's nudity. It's not a kids' movie, and this movie does explore very interesting themes and has elements that are like kind of challenging that really stuck with me. And I love where the story goes and the characters in it. And my favorite character in this movie would be Carlos. He was the most interesting character in the whole movie for me. But every single character in this movie I think is great. And I love the animation style for this movie. I think it looks really great, and there's some really great shots in this movie as well that really had an impact on me. And you can see everything clearly, including all of the action scenes that take place in this movie. Not that this movie is heavily reliant on action scenes, but when they do happen, they're pretty cool and impressive to watch, and they get pretty creative with the action scenes at points. Not so much to the point where it's like a Spider-Man Spider-Verse type film, but more or less how they pull certain things off is pretty interesting and fun. Like when I say Spider-Verse movies, I'm more or less thinking of like the animation style when it comes to like certain scenes, or like how they present information and how each shot kind of has a different frame rate. Not saying it's something like that, but rather it's still pretty cool what we get. And also creative, and I love the designs of everything. And this movie does remind me of some other movies that I have seen. Like the two that come to mind are like Ghost in the Shell and it's like Blade Runner, stuff like that. But the reason it didn't feel distracting is because it kind of touches on those similar ideas, but still uses it as a means to tell its own story, and it doesn't get dragged down by anything. I was always with the movie. I was curious as to where things were going. It's kind of a detective story that I really enjoyed, and wanted to see where else it was going. And this movie is nice and short. It's 90 minutes. It never wastes a second of its runtime. And I was very happy about that. And I also do like how things are reincorporated into the film. And although I did kind of see it coming, it was still fun to see those things come into play into the film. And it was kind of somewhat subtle in terms of how it was presented. Like, it's not the biggest deal as to whether or not you pick up on it or not. I also really enjoyed the music in this movie. And there were points where I felt as though it complemented each scene and added a lot, especially in the action scenes. I feel as though that's where the music shines. And you would kind of expect it to, because obviously it's a big part of the movie, like an action scene. I like the characters overall in this movie a lot, and I like the character dynamics. Those were fun, and my only complaints with this movie are just little things, and just a couple of parts of the plot where I was a bit confused as to like where things were going, but that might not be the case if I see it a second time. And I would love to see this movie again. I thought it was pretty great, very underrated. And not a lot of people have talked about this movie. And I discovered this movie because it was talked about on Sardonicast. And it was kind of on my watch list for a while. And I finally got around to seeing it. And I thought it was pretty fantastic. So I would highly recommend that you check it out. I think it's a movie that pretty much anyone can enjoy, as long as you're not a child. Obviously, because it's not a kid's movie. So definitely check this movie out whenever you get the chance. I thought it was fantastic, and I really value the experience. And the third act I was especially engaged with. That was awesome. So I have very few complaints with this movie, and any issue that I do have with it, it doesn't really hurt the experience too much. And they're spread out and few and far between, like when they come up, if that makes sense. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Mars Express a 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Mars Express, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Baby Girl. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.